Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you would like to put your headphones on, please feel free to do so. I'm going to start first by introducing my panelists. I am Muchinetta Tanapol, and I'm going to move it on to you ladies to introduce yourself to the audience and just let them know who you are and what company you work for.
Okay, so I'm Daniela Antunes. I'm marketing manager for FULGAR. I'm a textile engineer working with Polyamide for 30 years already, and pleasure being here.
Thank you. Would you like to go next?
And my name is Madhura Pawar. I work in the Global Product Innovation Division for BASF, which is a chemical company. And yes, as part of my responsibilities, I'm responsible for finding new markets, new sustainable initiatives like Loopamid, which you will hear more about. So,
you started me off there. I want to talk about Loopamide. Could you explain to our audience what it is? Because I know you've explained it to me very well, and I would love for you to do the same for the audience.
Okay, so maybe let me start with explaining BASF. Since it is the largest chemical company in the world with over 200 production locations and presence in about 90 countries. And I work as the product innovation manager in the monomers division. And as part of our portfolio, we are the leading manufacturers of Polyamide 6, also known very commonly as Nylon6. Many people, where would you see Nylon6? You would see it in swimwear, you would see it in lingerie, you would see it in activewear, sports apparel, and even your favorite pair of yoga pants, for example. And yes, so maybe I can start off with, in the textile recycling ecosystem, we are the chemical recycler. Our previous talk explained very well the difference between the mechanical recycling versus chemical recycling. We aim to tackle the textile recycling problem head on, the textile waste problem head on with our innovative recycled polyamide 6, which is Loopamid.
And how has the response been from the industry for what it is that you're trying to do? Has it been a positive response, or are people still trying to get their head around it, trying to understand it? How has it been?
So I guess you can ask Daniela that, because she's part of one of the stakeholders in the entire value chain.
Okay, Danielle, would you like to take over that question?
Okay, so my role in this supply chain is I'm customer from BASF. We spin the polymers that they produce, not just the recycled, but also the conventional one. One of my main roles is talking to the brands. Earlier you said the brand is the boss, and I completely agree, because the brands decide what they want to insert in line. And I also understand the brands need to understand in details the certifications, how can communicate. So it's our job also understand these questions and having sometimes the answers. We try to have them. Regarding to Loopamid, regarding to recycling, textile to textile, the answer from the market is very positive. It's one of the biggest requests that we, as a spinner polyamide, receive. We do not have yet big quantities. We will talk about it later, but the answer is very, very positive. Of course, not losing quality, not losing performance, the price, let's talk about. But as a technology, is very well received and requested.
I'm happy to hear that. Would you like to add something there?
Yeah, and the proof of the pudding is in the eating of it, right? So to just answer your question, we did have a collection done with Zara. So as part of our collaboration, where we did make a jacket out of recycled polyamide 6, which is Loopamid. So yes, and the response was very, very positive. It was sold out in under 2 hours on the Zara website. So
you kind of brought your pudding to the stage to show to
yes,
everyone
exactly.
that, look, we've created a product.
It's believing, right?
Yes. So that's kind of good, because that means you're not throwing words like Loopamid and poly, and people sitting here thinking, what are they talking about? You've actually shown us a product. So how many of them did you sell? How many were produced of the jacket?
Only 300, because it was a capsule collection, so to say, like a pilot collection. And so all 300 were sold. and worldwide. So it was not just a EU-specific campaign. It was made in the EU, but a worldwide campaign.
And what's the key selling point of that particular product? Is there anything that makes it different from like a traditional type of material that's usually used?
Yeah, so as we heard again in the previous talk, about 92 million tons of textile waste is produced annually globally, right? And only 2% is diverted to textile recycling. So really fiber to fiber. That means there's a ton of waste piling up. And as I said, Loopamid wants to address this and turn the problem on its head, meaning use the textile waste not just as a waste, but really turn the problem into a solution. So use it as a feedstock, a renewable, valuable feedstock. So really using the textile waste from textile for textiles. So truly circular solution which enables closing the loop and not just having a one-time loop. This is probably the game change, or probably the most, what sets it apart.
If I may.
Yes, please.
You asked about the quality of if the polyamide
I
is different
was,
or,
yes.
or what. If I may, in that topic, the quality, the performance, the elongation, resistance, and dyeing performance is exactly the same of conventional one, and it must be. So it's the brands and our customers, they do not accept if it's not in the normal polyamide quality. In the past, we could accept and so on. Now we cannot. So the performance in the spinning plant, the controls that we do in the fabric producer, the dyeing, they do not accept stripes or breaks and so on. So the quality is the same.
That's quite good to hear, actually, because I think that's always the big problem or concern, more than problem, actually, that it won't have the same quality.
Yes, it is a chemical recycling solution, so that means we are breaking it down to its component, a monomer, and then polymerizing it back to a virgin quality like Polyamide 6. That means it will not have differences in performance, and also that enables you to theoretically do multiple loops, right? It's not an open loop solution because you can take the textiles made from it, so you can recycle this jacket now. It's post-consumer, you can take this jacket and then you can recycle it again and again and again.
Wow, okay.
This is
just turning it to the audience. How many of you would be very interested in buying a jacket such as this one? Not particularly the style, but how it's made with the material.
Yeah, it is way too big for me.
So yeah, you feature customers right there, which is good. Just explain to us a little further so we understand how your relationship works. How do you work together? How do you collaborate?
Yeah, I said we are their biggest textile customer for polyamide. The production is based in Germany, and I'm based in the north of Italy. So also the polymers, it's easy to arrive them by trucks. And we work very closely because we do not have a polymerization. We do not want to have a polymerization. And for them, the same. They do not have a spinning, and they do not want to have a spinning. So we work very closely. Also for the developments, the challenges that I'm facing on communication or on quality with my products, with my customers, we discuss with them, and the same about them, they suggest me other markets. So we work very closely for many, many years. It's not from this product that we do this.
So you are a really good example of how we should collaborate. It's a long-term investment in each other.
Yeah.
Is that how you kind of would see it?
It's all about building relationships and the maintaining the relationships. And as Daniela said, it also allows us to really shorten the feedback loop. We can change, we know what the customer wishes, what brands wish, and then accordingly tailor it according to the wishes of the brand. So it's always a very close collaboration.
That's a really key learning thing. So I feel like we always push the idea of partnerships and collaborations in these conversations, but what we don't push is that they need to be long-term, that they need to be built upon. You know, it's not like a hello, goodbye type of approach, which a lot of brands, I feel, do that. What have been some of your challenges, though? Because it's great that you have this collaboration. It's also great that you've come up with this particular type of product that a lot of people obviously would buy into. But what have been the challenges? What's the biggest challenge you've had, and also yourself, Danielle?
In the Loopamid project, you mean? So the biggest for us as FULGAR, we see the sorting and collecting and sorting the products for having for them the raw materials is not good for me because I take time to receiving the new materials. So I see as in the market for a long time, I see this is the toughest part of the supply chain. They had developed already the technology, and this is a huge step already. But now we must increase the volumes so I can offer more yarns. Also, the process is very, very new, very, very nice. As she said, it's the good quality comes also because it's a chemical recycling, so the raw material goes until the beginning of the polyamide chain. Parenthesis. I have also another product recycled mechanically from my internal waste. So it's a mechanical recycling, and we see the difference between the products. So chemical recycling offers a better quality. And so I see this as a challenge. And also the cost today, since it's a few quantity, it's still higher. So the cost is higher, so I have to pay more for them, and I have to ask more higher price for my customers. So this is another challenge that I believe in the next years it will decrease.
Yeah.
Is that possible, do you think, for the money, for it to go? I mean, I know that if you look at products like the mobile phone, obviously what it was 30 years ago versus what it is today, the price has gone considerably lower. Do you see this being the case, and how many years do you think it will take?
So we touched upon this a little bit in the morning when we had our chat, and as I said, it is essential if textile recycling were to succeed, which it will, but it is essential that all the stakeholders along the value chain are also successful, right? That means each and every stakeholder, be it a sorter, a sorting technology provider, recycler, spinner, everybody needs to scale up and be cost competitive. And they will, because it is all about economies of scale. So once the infrastructure is there, there will be more volumes that are produced, so more volumes sorted, more volumes generated, more volumes, or more feedstock for us. We scale up commercially so we can offer it at then, lower prices in the sense because of economies of scale. So yes, it will come. And when you mention challenges, it is also related to, so basically as a chemical recycler, we want all technologies and all stakeholders to scale up and be cost competitive. That is truly the one of the challenges that I see. The other challenge, and Daniela touched upon that as well a little bit, is this lack of clarity, a little bit of lack of understanding, consumer awareness in terms of just the definition of what is a recyclable material.
You know what, saying what you just said, I'm going to ask the audience, how many of you understand chemical recycling? That's quite good.
Yeah,
For those who don't know, do you mind quickly defining what that is? So I'm sure it can sound a little scary. Chemical? What do you mean?
But, the chemical recycling, especially for, say, a polyamide 6. So let's start with polyamide 6. It is a polymer which we then depolymerize, get it back into its monomeric form, its component, and then we will repolymerize it to form the pellets, the capsule. And by the virtue of it being chemical recycling, as Daniela said, we can actually digest this technology, especially our technology, can digest a wild mixture of impurities. So actually, elastane, which is usually tougher to recycle in post-consumer waste, our technology can handle it actually, and that is advantage. That is a major advantage of a chemical recycling, and especially chemical recycling of Loopamid. So yeah, it's basically breaking it down to its component so that you can use that virgin-like quality to form a recycled polyamide.
It's an important topic that you touch, because I've listened many times about it's not good with chemical recycling because it is used in many chemical products. It's not like this. It's like disconstruct and reconstruct the chemical molecule. So
I think we need to change the name because chemical recycling can sound rather scary, especially if you're afraid of kind of
it would be a good idea because I have to explain many times, and
Yeah.
I understand the ignorance because I learned because I'm in this market. But
Yes.
it's not,
I mean, I was happy to see the audience understood what it meant. Quite a few hands went up, but I just felt those words together can strike the fear into those who are trying to be a little more, I don't know, kind of run away from that aspect. You're both involved in the T-Rex project. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what part you're playing in this project?
T-Rex project is a very interesting initiative sponsored by the European Commission. We are around 13 companies with specific roles. So they like as recycling and polymer producer in Polyamide. I'm talking for you.
For polyamide.
I'm in the spinning polyamide, but we have also in the group cotton recycler, and also polyester.
Yeah.
But I must say that BASF, and of course per consequence me, it's the most advanced.
Yeah, technology, the most advanced of the three technologies currently in the consortium.
You
because
can
we,
see
we have
some
we have
examples
this,
already.
Exactly. We already have made the first recycling and will actually next week give it to Daniela for the spinning. So we will
The
already
T-Rex
have the
polymer. We are partner with many companies, as I said. So there are universities studying the technologies, how to improve, how to facilitate the technologies. And also we have Adidas, who is the boss of this group. So we are going, as FULGAR, we have also a sister company that produce garments, seamless garments. So as FULGAR, we are going to produce these yarns and also the garments for Adidas. So it's very, we are not going to produce a big quantity. So it's a capsule collection, but it's for showing to the government, to the European players that it's possible to do. And I'm very, very honored being part of this initiative.
Yeah, ultimately it aims to really create awareness and actually find solutions, identify infrastructure, technology, policies to make to make the circular solutions economically feasible. And also, on the other hand, also aims to raise consumer awareness so that the consumers can also, we empower the consumers to then actively contribute to textile recycling.
I think, from what I understand, the T-Rex project, it's showing that we can all work together.
Exactly.
And that we all have a part to play. So you're giving the industry an example of what that can look like.
Yes.
Because it's one thing saying partner up, partner up, partner up, but if you can't show how this partnership can work, then people can't really envision it. But you're giving them the opportunity to see this is how we're all working together. We all have a part to play, and this is the end product.
Yes, because there will be collectors who will collect, the sorters who will then sort the garments, either polyester, polyamide, or cotton. Then the recyclers who will recycle this, make the polymer, spin it, and make it into garments, and then brands like Adidas who will sell them.
You know what I like? I like the fact that you're including academia into this.
Yes.
Because they can study it and come up with the facts. You know, there are people that want to see a product. There's people that want to see facts and numbers and, and then there's people that want to see the actual process or speak to the manufacturers. So everyone wants to speak to different people in this whole thing. So the fact that you're including academics, I think, is pretty strong.
Yes.
Because it kind of gives them an opportunity to, I guess, to tie it all up nicely, right?
Also
in a report.
independently prove that it's possible, because it's one thing for BASF to say, oh, we can make this, but then for them to independently also test, oh yes, this works, this is how they do it, this is how FULGAR can spin is another aspect.
I think it makes you more trustworthy.
Exactly.
Yes, holds you accountable. Any questions from our audience before I wrap up with the final question? There's a couple of ladies here in the front. Do we have a mic by any chance? Thank you.
I have a question. You said high amounts of impurities can be recycled as well. Could you give some examples? Is it like for elastane, like 10% or something like that?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, to be very technical, actually we can handle more than 20%, like 20 to 30, but at some point it also becomes economies of scale, right? Meaning, are we recycling textiles or are we recycling impurities? So I would say 80 to 90, but percent polyamide 6. That means we can handle 10 to 20% impurities.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Question? Would you
I just would like to, if I may,
Go
do we
ahead,
have time?
yes. We have, yeah, you can do a quick minute.
No, just adding some comments about your question. I don't know in which market do you are, but 80-20 in the polyamide market is a huge number because normally we mix polyamide and elastane, so it's a very big number, 20-80. Yeah. So if you think about polyester viscose as we were seeing in the next other presentation, maybe it's 50-50 or 40-60, but in the polyamide market it's a huge number having just 80%.
Is it stopping at 80 or are you on a journey to get better?
As I said, we can actually recycle even more impure, but then at a certain point it wouldn't make sense because we'll be generating more waste than the actual product.
Does that make sense? Okay.
I would say 10 to 20% would be our goal.
Okay, thank you. And next question?
I think my question goes in the same direction. So are there any limitations in chemical recycling? You say maybe a mixture with cellulosic fibers doesn't work. It has to be synthetic fibers. And maybe to tie in with that, is there any quality issues that you have, or is the quality less as for mechanical recycling? If you recycle, the fiber quality gets a bit less. So is it the same for chemical, or because you said the jacket can be recycled many times, does it stay the same?
So I can also, you can add in, but I will just start off. So that's a very good question because actually in the recycling technology itself, it is not a problem at all about the cellulosic impurities or elastane, for example. What could be a problem is then in the pre-processing step. That means when you're compacting the material, sometimes it is not desirable to have too much of cotton or cellulosic impurities. That being said, it is one step that we're planning on improving, and my answer will still remain the same. 10 to 20% of impurities, cellulosic or elastane, should not affect the recycling technology. The chemical recycling is not affected. The pre-processing step, on the other hand, that's a different story, and the entire value chain is working towards bettering it. So it will come. And to answer your second part, the mechanical versus chemical, as I said, since it is really, we're going back down to the monomer and then recycling it and making the polymer out of it, it should have virgin-like qualities. That means the performance, the spinning, the dyeing performance should remain as much, as the same as a virgin grade polyamide 6, because in mechanical recycling, as you know, the fibers have to be really of the best quality, the correct length. So even cutting of those fibers, really removing the fibers becomes a very important step. It should not really matter in making garments out of chemically recycled Loopamid.
Thank you so much for answering these difficult questions, and I'm glad you guys are happy to ask them as well. We've run out of time, I'm afraid, but these ladies are available to come on a one-to-one basis and ask them any questions that you might have.
Comment for doing that I forgot.
That's
important for them.
Okay, since it's important.
Besides the quality that we said, this technology is traceable. Traceability is very important. It's GRS certified from Textile Exchange, just for give you an idea. Yeah. So it's very important for them.
Traceability is very important. I completely agree with you. But that's quite all right. Thank you, ladies, for joining us and sharing information and being very transparent. Really very transparent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.